Today I effed up by parking improperly and stinking up my car. For some background, where I live there has been a big problem with public parking recently. Too many people, too few parking spaces. But wool boots aren't used here, unlike in America where I used to live. And on city streets, the cars are parked too close together for you to be towed. You also can't get your license suspended for parking violations. The worst that happens is you get a fine, which to me isn't much money, and they often don't even catch you to give you the fine. I guess the sentiment is common, since unauthorized parking is pretty common. Well, I guess the city have been getting complaints or they had enough, because a while ago after I got my 5th parking ticket, I got a note on the car along with the ticket saying that traffic enforcement would literally translate it to ferret scent. Mink scent/musk? To my car, the next time it was parked improperly. I had no clue if I should take that literally or even if my translation was right, but I didn't think much of it. I avoided parking in unauthorized places for a while, but I did so one day a couple months later when running a bit late for work, and got away with it. So I did it again the next week, and then again a couple weeks later, and that time I came back to find the familiar ticket on my windshield. No big deal, I thought, until I got inside and turned the engine on, and then this smell hit me. I've never smelled anything like it before. I still don't even know how to describe it. The closest I can think would be the smell of the zoo, but it was way stronger than that. Maybe someone who's been around ferrets can put it into words better for me. But it was awful and overwhelming, and seemed to get worse as I drove home. Since then, I've tried just about everything I can think of to remove it, and it's faded a decent amount, but there's still a faint smell. TL, Dr. Unauthorized parking one too many times. Car now smells like a dirty ferret cage. What country do you live in that stinks up your car as a punishment? This is the question we all need answered. And we will wait for that country's posting on r/revenge. Lol. /r/petty. Revenge or /r/pro revenge maybe. Yes, I couldn't remember lol. Thanks for that. Leaning towards r/pro revenge. It's only /r/pro revenge if the smell never goes away. r/nuclear revenge is my favorite. This reminds me of a crazy story I heard from my boss while working at a wildlife sanctuary. Apparently several years ago, there was a couple who had purchased a pet fox, but were no longer willing to care for it. Instead of going to the trouble of finding a sanctuary such as ours to relocate the fox to, they just dumped it on the side of the road. Thankfully they were caught, and arrested for animal neglect. When the judge asked them why they did it, they said they couldn't handle the fox's smell anymore, which is the reason 80% of people give us when they surrender their foxes to us. Judge agreed to not sentence them to jail time as per the plea deal. They got 30 days of house arrest in one condition. For those 30 days, they had to keep an open bottle of fox urine. Yes, you can buy it in every room in their house. I was also surprised how common uncommon punishments are in the US. I can easily find dozens of them, and I'm sure there's thousands more that don't make the news. Apparently as long as it's a plea deal to avoid jail time, it doesn't really matter if the punishment is constitutional, since the defendant will never appeal to an appeals court to make that would just result in the usual jail sentence being imposed. I'm telling you though, I think I might prefer jail. Ooh, they use fox urine to protect people from illegally chopping down trees for use as Christmas trees. They just spray it on and it freezes on the tree, no problem. If someone cuts it down and brings it home, it melts once it gets inside, and pretty much permanently stinks up the house. We're talking carpet replacement levels of badness. But, then it's already been chopped. Does that protect the tree? Am I missing something? It discourages them from doing it again. And the stories will discourage plenty as well. All we are asking is what country this is. We're not trying to dox you. This sounds so beeped up Lamau. Maybe it's Liechtenstein and he's one of their 40 citizens? True, and they only have 39 parking spots. Yeah, all we care about up at this time is only one thing. WHICHCOUNTRY. Op posts in r/German, and I know some of their automobile laws aren't too strict. But I'm not very well versed in Germany post World War II because they don't post that kind of speep on r/history memes, so I have no peeping clue where op is from. But my best guess would be a country not the US that has a large group of German speakers or has German as a common language taken in school. It could also be that Germany is his home country and he lives somewhere else now. He did say that he had to translate the note left on his car by the authorities, so I'm guessing wherever this happened isn't his original country. Fines only punish poor people. Ferret Musk punishes everybody. Where are you from? That they retaliate with skunk/mink stink secrete? Because, I need to know. Is it your fetish? No stink shaming. The closest I can think would be the smell of the zoo, But it was way stronger than that. Maybe someone who's been around ferrets can put it into words better for me. Yeah, what do ferrets actually smell like? So many people say it's god-awful, and then you have these nose-blind ferret owners who just say it just smells like a hamster cage and stuff. Is it really different / worse than wet dog? What does it smell like? There is different causes to a ferret smell. Firstly, there is the odor of the animal itself, which is stronger than the one of a dog or a cat, but not especially bad, just strong. Then there is the bad smell, the one they release skunk fashion when they're scared. This one stinks a lot, not as bad as a skunk's release though. There is also stuff like poorly cleaned cage or litter, but this would make a hamster's cage stink as bad. I think this is why there is different people saying different stuff about the smell. Source: had to keep a friend's ferret for a few months. Edit: description of the smells. The body odor of a ferret reminds me of the one of a bigger animal, like when you enter a Hee's stable, but less strong. The release bomb smells horrid, putrid almost, hard to describe but really strong. The poopy cage one smells like very bad litter. The poop of a ferret smells stronger than the one of a cat. What does the spray smell like exactly? I'm assuming that's the stuff they used in the car. My ex's ferrets destroyed any room they were in with that scent. I couldn't imagine a concentrated commercial version of that. That's definitely an interesting deterrent method. How would you describe the smell? Very, very musky. If you've ever been in a place that has a mouse problem, it's like that, but thicker. It sticks to you even after a few minutes. Oh, ew. And they just naturally smell like that all the time. Or was that their urine / spray? Or what? How bad would it be to be in a car that was sprayed full of it? Then, would you throw up? Or it's not quite that bad? They always smell that way. They have a very oily fur. The pee and poop is bad, but nothing out of the ordinary for an animal. It's the constant musk. When we broke up, I actually had to throw a couple coats out. I'd imagine a concentrated spray in a car would be unbearable, but not like a skunk where it would make you sick. It would be like if a wet dog was hanging out in your car all day in warm weather. Get an ozone generator and leave it on for a while. Not too long though, so try 1 hour first and then test smell. I mean, as long as the car is closed up and allowed to air out before use, there shouldn't be anything wrong with leaving an ozone generator going for several hours. Have a car that I'm cleaning up to finally sell and can confirm that ozone generator did wonders for the overall musty and moldy smell. Ran it for 3 hours twice and there was no smell at the end. Made me want to pick up one of my own. The one I used was borrowed from a friend. I've had a squirrel die somewhere in the engine, and I couldn't have the heat / air blower on for a long time. That smell just never goes away and you'll never forget it. Ferret / mink likely don't smell like a rotting carcass, but I can't imagine they smell great either just by what I've heard and read about them. I'm sorry you had to experience that. A friend of mine's cat urinated on top of her car once and it somehow got into the vents in her car. You could still smell it a year or so later just being in the car, and if she turned on the heat / air, the scent was as bad if not worse than when it first happened. It was unbearable and smelled that way until she got rid of the car. Ugh. This is like that Seinfeld episode LOL. LOL, it's an entity. We need a priest to get rid of this smell. And then at the end the homeless guy gets in the car with the keys on the seat and just walks out. What a great episode. Can't be NYC. Dirty ferret cage would be a noticeable improvement. As someone who had ferrets as a kid and who is frequently peeped over by entitled assholes who park wherever they want as an adult, I love your government for doing this. This isn't a peep up because you got exactly what you were told and exactly what you deserved. This is an awesome, totally progressive way of handling this. This doesn't discriminate on the basis of wealth and income like fines and towing do. TBH, I'd love to see something like this in the States. Maybe not ignore your parking fines and your car wouldn't smell like hyena crotch. OIBT, they didn't think of this. I mean, they clearly didn't for quite some time, lol. The answer may be coffee grounds. Get a can of coffee grounds and leave it open inside the car for a couple weeks. If it works, the grounds should absorb the bad smell and make your car smell like coffee. Coffee grounds is super smart. I would suggest an open box of baking soda too / if you don't have ground coffee around. That's amazing, and you deserved it. Enjoy your just desserts. Fun fact, it's actually desserts because it's derived from deserve, not sweet desserts. Not trying to be that person who corrects someone over something minor, but I actually just thought it was interesting when I found out and want to spread the little known knowledge. I mean really, you deserve every bit of that. You know you're parking where you're not supposed to and you still do it, and gleefully, too. As a non-car user in a city, people like you are the worst. There are few enough spaces that aren't taken up by giant metal boxes, and you just take one of those and make them your own. I have not taken the time to read through all the comments to see if this was said already, so I'm going to post it anyways. The way they got the smell into your car, and every car, is right below the windshield on the outside of your car. There is a black plastic strip that runs across right underneath the wiper blades. It has small little vents or slits cut into it. This is where the air comes into your vehicle for your AC and heat. There are filters inside of there that most people don't even know about. They filter the air coming into your cabin and are called shocker cabin air filters. If you Google how to open the compartment on your specific vehicle, most vehicles have a little trick to open it without breaking the clips. You can access the filters and change them, as I am sure they dumped whatever liquid into there and the filters soaked it up. This is why no matter what you do, the smell will stay until you change these filters. Good luck, and let me know if swapping out the filters helps. Unauthorized parking 8 times. You're lucky all you got was a stinky car for a while. How about just parking how you're supposed to from now on? Just an idea. Is Op going to leave us hanging here? Reminds me of an episode of Top Gear where they rubbed cheese on the engine of James May's car. That's a lot of words for, I'm an entitled rich douche who parks like an asshole. LMFAO. Good. People who park like dicks deserve all the bad things. Where can someone buy some of this mink scent? Or even fox urine? I'm asking for a friend. Of a friend. 5 parking tickets. And you still park illegally because you can get away with it without getting a boot? Emo. This was earned for sure. I'll just say what country you're from. I'd be willing to bet it was mink musk. You can get it pretty easily from the amount of mink farms, pretty much all over the place. I know the smell very well. In my work, we use mink for bait a lot, and they stink. I'm around stinky stuff all the time, so it's no big deal. But that said, I really wouldn't want it sprayed on my car. One time I was chopping some up. They're halfway frozen. Hit the musk gland just right, and it squirted about 10 feet to spray my deckhand right across his face. Instant puking for like half an hour. Then intermittent for a few hours after that. I almost got beat up. Ha! Good times. I dream of the day a TL doctor will be the actual shortened version of the story and not just a title V2.0 that tells you nothing about what happened. Op mentions in one comment there's a mink farm in town. They said they moved from the US, and someone else said they saw Op commenting in German. My guess is Op is living in Denmark. If you think the authorities would do this in Denmark, well, you don't know Denmark. Although I suppose it's not quite clear if it was the authorities or annoyed locals. 2 questions here. Which country are you in now, and what are wool boots? That is some beautiful I told you I would get you back. This is a far better punishment than expecting money. I am absolutely amazed that Reddit hasn't figured out what country this is. Dude, what country? Literally what everyone wants to know the most. Maybe skunk off would work. Replace your cabin air filter and go to a garage and ask if they have an AC sanitization service. I guess instead of an eye for an eye, your local parking enforcement goes with park like an asshole. Smell the asshole. Yeah. Sound like you deserve this one, buddy. You did not foo by parking improperly the last time. You foo by your feeling of entitlement to use and park your car whenever and wherever you want. Op admitted he was wrong. Relax. Also, it seems like wherever he is needs more public parking. If the local government doesn't want to build it, then at least they don't go crazy fining people and rather just give you a punishment that's a temporary inconvenience. Sometimes you can't just build more. There's nowhere to build it. Many residential streets in the UK? Are you sure something just didn't climb up in your car and die? Really wonder where that is. Cause cars parking too close to each other to be towed doesn't really exist as far as I know. Cities that have this problem in Europe usually have tow vehicles that can either tow a car by a crane or a lift from the side.